Hello, please be seated. Good evening. As Interim Dean of Oxford College of Emory University, I'm honored to welcome you to Oxford's 2022 Convocation. Emory University acknowledges the Muskogee Creek people who lived, worked, produced knowledge on, and nurtured the land where Oxford's Emory and Atlanta campuses are now located. In 1821, 15 years before Emory's founding, the Muskogee were forced to relinquish this land. We recognize the sustained oppression, land dispossession, and involuntary removals of the Muskogee and Cherokee peoples from Georgia and the Southeast. Emory seeks to honor the Muskogee Nation and other indigenous caretakers of this land by humbly seeking knowledge of their histories and committing to respectful stewardship of the land. We begin our ceremony tonight with an invocation from Oxford's chaplain, the Reverend Lynn Pace.
As we remember where we are and those who have gone before us, I invite you to lift your hearts with me to that which you name as sacred. Let us pray. Sacred One, source of life and lover of justice, we pause in this moment to take a breath. Our lives at Oxford College are already full and vibrant in the classroom and dance studios and athletic spaces, on the quad and in the dining hall, and even on those late night drives to Taco Bell. These places and moments of belonging hold great potential for our togetherness and the ways in which we offer care. As we get to know each other, as we reconnect after the summer, may the mystery of our lives and life itself encourage us to be curious about who we are. We come from many different places and bring our rich identities to this college experience. And though many, we gather tonight as one college community, hoping that we may overcome ourselves enough to allow other voices to be heard, other ideas valued, so that the beloved in each of us will be respected. In our lives together this year, let wisdom guide our decisions and keep us accountable. Let love strengthen our relationships so we will be kind. May our old assumptions be challenged and parochial thinking diminished, so that we may have an irrepressible desire to know, to learn as if we will live forever, to lead with love and courageous vision and heart. In gratitude, we offer these words at this new beginning. Amen.
The word convocation derives from the Latin convoco, meaning to call together. This evening, we call together all members of the campus community. It's a time when we formally welcome and induct new students into our academic community. We welcome back our returning students and faculty and staff. We publicly recognize newly hired and promoted faculty, and we also greet those alumni and faculty emeriti, parents, and friends who are joining the convocation via our live stream. We have much to celebrate as we mark the new beginning on this historic campus, which was founded 185 years ago in 1836. You students, faculty, and staff here represent the best and the brightest from all over Georgia, the country, and the world. You are members of the Oxford College class of 2024 and the Emory University class of 2026. First-year students, a special welcome to you as you join our new community. You have graduated from over 350 high schools across the United States and in 16 other countries. You were chosen from over 20,000 applicants. The over 425 of you starting college with us this evening comprised less than 2 out of every 100 who applied. You are strongly credentialed in every academic sense. You are also highly accomplished in diverse artistic and athletic pursuits and in community leadership. In short, you are really impressive and unique. That's what you are. We are, yes. We are really grateful for all the qualities and experiences and skills and talents that you bring to Oxford College. You've also had the Coke Toast in the Student Center. You've signed the book of the college. You've competed heroically, or maybe at least enjoyed, the Oxford Olympics. And you've met with your faculty advisor, and you now have a class schedule. After that, many of you actually attended class today, which is a pretty good habit. Returning students, welcome back. Last year, as the largest class ever at Oxford College, you joined us for convocation in buildings across the campus with your advisors. I'm delighted to have our entire student community here and present for this moment. Now, as sophomores and campus leaders, we are counting on you to build on what you have learned last year and to play central roles in sustaining Oxford's vital, supportive, and intellectually rich community. Yesterday, I participated on the Atlanta campus with my fellow deans, along with Provost Bellanconda and President Finvez in the university's convocation, welcoming the new Emory College students to campus and greeting Oxford students who are continuing their studies as juniors and seniors. We also celebrate those students and express our sense of solidarity and common purpose with the faculty teaching them at Emory College, Woodruff School of Nursing, and the Gosweda Business School. We are honored to welcome to Oxford College extraordinary professors onto the tenure track. Their impressive bios are included as an insert to your program. I want to call their names so they may please stand and be warmly welcomed. Tian Chi, Assistant Professor of Mathematics. Sheldon R. Lawrence II, Assistant Professor of Biology. Marvin McNeil, Assistant Professor of Music and African American Studies. Bamba Ndai, Assistant Professor of African Studies. Imorja Robertson, Assistant Professor of Music and African American Studies. Masha Vaslova, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Studies. You all bring tremendous talents to our campus. You expand our curriculum into important new areas of knowledge. Now, it is a significant moment in the life of the college when faculty are promoted. Those bios are also included in your program insert. We have 2 recognitions to acknowledge this evening from the past academic year. Please stand as I call your name. Paul Oser was promoted to Teaching Professor of Mathematics. And right behind me, Efrosini Saturitu, who was promoted to Professor of Physics. In Oxford and in Atlanta, we continually strive to create an undergraduate experiences that, for you, is the best of everything. A superb residential liberal arts college education integrated with all the benefits of a great research university. Now, tonight, we are honored to have with us the University President Greg Finvez and Provost Ravi Bellanconda. They each have a few words to share in welcoming the Oxford incoming class, not only to Oxford, but also the university. First, I welcome President Finvez.
Well, thank you, Dean Carter. And I know that as an Oxford College alumnus and as a longtime faculty member at Oxford, you have a special appreciation and a true love for Oxford College and the experience here. And I just want to start out by saying how grateful I am for you to step up to a new leadership role for Oxford College. Please give Dean Carter a big round of applause. And to the students of Oxford College, welcome to a new academic year. This is an exciting time to be here. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, every time I visit Oxford, and I try to come here fairly often, I'm reminded that this is truly where Emory began. Emory's historic birthplace is right outside. And in that history, which is in the buildings here, in the stories here, in the grounds here, we occasionally hear that bell from Seeney Hall, that 200-year-old plus bell that really sings the history of Oxford. I see the beautiful buildings, the historic buildings at Oxford University, the peaceful quad. Your place, your home here at Oxford truly is special. Now, across the years, there's been a distinctive spirit that continues to thrive at Oxford, and each of you is part of that spirit, creating a powerful sense of identity that makes Oxford so truly special. By living and learning here, you are adding to the storied legacy of Oxford College, forming friendships and new connections that will last you a lifetime, expanding your own horizons and making your mark right here. Do we have any returning sophomores here? Okay, let's hear it for the sophomores. Come on. You're the student leaders here at Oxford. Welcome back. I encourage you to draw upon your first year experience here and the knowledge that you've already gained here to make your second year at Oxford truly special. Do we have any first year students here? Okay, come on, let's hear it. I expect more from first year students. Let's give the first year students a big round of applause. So on behalf of Emory University, I welcome all our new students to this campus, the beginning of your college experience right here at Oxford. Now, Oxford College, as the dean talked about, is very selective. So you have been picked to come here to Oxford, and you have chosen Oxford because you are truly special. But most importantly, Oxford believes in you because of who you are, your life experiences, your accomplishments, and what you bring here today, your unique talents and interests, and your tremendous potential. And that's what a college education is about, is developing your tremendous potential. You are a motivated, diverse, and creative class of doers from around the country and around the world, offering a range of backgrounds and your own life experiences driven by passion and purpose and ambition and heart. And I urge you to learn from the sophomore class, those of you that have finished your first year. See the way that they have taken on leadership roles at this campus, responsibility for Oxford College, and work and share your time together. Now, across the United States and colleges and universities, there is simply no place like Oxford. As the dean has talked about, a residential liberal arts college experience with all the resources and possibilities of a major research university. There simply is no other greater combination that you are all able to take advantage of. This is your time to learn, to engage, to explore, to absorb new ideas from people who are different than you, that think differently from you, to develop your own pathways, to ask questions and answer those questions as you pursue your passion. In doing that, you will come to know yourself even better, to define your future and prepare for a lifetime of achievement and learning after you earn your Oxford and Emory degrees. So if I could share any advice, and I'll be brief, it would be this: be open to other people, other perspectives and experiences that you will encounter because you will encounter it, even the unexpected things that will end up being part of your education at Oxford. And that includes Your professors, your faculty that are here, stick around after class, drop by their office hours. Is that okay? Can they drop by your office hours? See, they want you to drop by their office hours, get to know them. That is the beauty of Oxford. Their expertise is our university's greatest strength, and they want to see you each succeed. Take time to check out some of the wonderful student organizations and activities here on campus and beyond. There are so many different ways to get involved and add to your experience here at Oxford. You will soon find that service to humanity is not only written into the Emory mission, it is built into our ethos, and you can start making that difference and living that ethos right now. For each of you, this year offers a new beginning, a profound journey, one that I know you are prepared for and ready to take on. So congratulations. I can't wait to see all that you accomplish. Congratulations.
Thank you, President Fenwes and Dean Carter. Always feel welcome here. As your provost and the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, it is my pleasure to welcome all our students and faculty to a new school year at Oxford College and Emory University. Oxford and Emory are truly magical places in my mind of scholarship, wisdom, and knowledge. Whether it's through our research discoveries, creative works, our acts of service, we do good in the world. That is Emory's DNA. As we begin a new semester as a new student, or some of you who are returning and perhaps looking ahead to your journeys at Emory, you might be wondering, what will I make of this next year and the years to follow? Will I succeed? What does it take to be successful? And may I address that question because I hear it often from the students. And I've been reflecting on this question myself. Over the course of my career and my life, I've had the occasion to interact with very many smart people. And I've thought about what makes them so successful. And I'll tell you, there is truth that we need some threshold of smartness to be successful. But I have noticed, and it has been my observation through multiple interactions, that the degree of smartness above this threshold of smartness, the number of standard deviations above this degree of threshold of smartness has no correlation to how successful you are. So once you have some threshold of smartness, how smart you are above that threshold actually has no bearing on how successful you are. That really is dependent on curiosity, your desire to work hard, to be resilient when you face setbacks. And these other characteristics have a lot more to do with success than how smart you are above a certain threshold. Now, it turns out that in the process that led you here, we have looked at each one of you very, very carefully. And so let me just tell you, all of you here in this room, the first years are just beginning their journey, and those who are coming back, more than meet the minimum threshold for success, and you all exceeded by a lot. So let me reassure you that if you do these things, follow your curiosity, hard work, and be resilient, you will be successful. The second question I hear often is how one deals with uncertainty. We are uncertain about the friends we'll make, the majors we'll take, what will happen after we move to the Emory College campus. Will you adjust there? Will you get that prestigious internship or graduate school program or arts fellowship? So how does one deal with uncertainty? The fact is, if you ask your faculty here today or the distinguished leaders behind me, did they know when they were beginning their college journey what they would end up doing in their lives? And the answer would unanimously be absolutely not. They had no way of knowing. In fact, there is no way of knowing exactly what your future will be. But there is something you can control, and that is your behavior. Going back to what I said earlier, if you remain intellectually curious, if you are willing to commit to putting in some work, no matter how smart you are, and if you remain wanting to learn and kindle the curiosity from those around you and from each other, I guarantee you, if you do those things that you can control and let that collide with the magic that Oxford is, the magic that Emory is, it is almost 100% certain that you will do fantastically well. So if you control the things you can control and let Emory and Oxford do what it does, and there's magic here, I guarantee you that you will be super successful. And that is a sure way to reduce uncertainty. I have one last thought. Many of you may be missing home because this is your first time away, and some of you I know are very far away from home. And as much as you're missing home and those you love, loved ones that you left behind, I can assure you that your family, your teachers, your coaches, your mentors miss you even more. So I have a favor to ask you. In the next 24 hours, and again, perhaps sometime next week, please email, text, or write to 3 people and tell them you miss them, you love them, or thank them. Make some gesture to 3 people, a family member, coach, mentor, a friend you've left behind. And I know it will give you enormous joy and it will make the world of difference to them. So to our new students, welcome to Oxford. And to our sophomore students, welcome back. This is truly a magical place, and I know you will make it your own, and it's a living place, and we're so glad you're here giving us energy to continue. Welcome to Oxford, welcome to Emory.
I want to definitely thank Provost Villakamna and President Finvez for your presence and for participating at Oxford this evening. I was also told that if I did this, that I might get a response from some of the students here. If I say ox, it did work. Ox. Thank you. Okay. Student leadership and involvement in diverse organizations and clubs is an integral part of Oxford's mission. Here to welcome the incoming class on behalf of Student Government Association is Vice President Michael Chow.
Good evening, Oxford. I'm thrilled to be gathered here with you all tonight. My name is Michael Chow. I'll be serving as your Vice President of Oxford Student Government Association this year. Welcome. I'd just like to start off by saying that I'm impressed by all the energy you first years have brought to campus so far. During International Student Welcome, Ignite, Orientation, and Ox Olympics. I can't help but look back to just a year ago when I was in your shoes. Oxford has been an incredibly tight-knit community, teeming with opportunity. Maybe the tour guides are right. Here at Oxford, we're all ambitious, talented, and motivated students. You will seize every opportunity and become leaders on campus. It's because of this determination, however, that sometimes we align ourselves on a set path and try our best not to deviate from it. However, inevitably when this happens, we oftentimes find ourselves lost. Just keep your mind open. In doing so, you might find that unexpected topics pique your interests. It's in these moments that highlight the flexibility and curiosity that define the Oxford experience. Oxford's Liberal Arts Foundation truly does supply the means to create, curate, and cultivate new passions. I encourage you all to leverage this as a resource so that you may explore both inside and outside the classroom, so that you may develop more multifaceted and complex interests. Second years, welcome home. I'm still so inspired by the passion you bring to this campus. From your research and extracurriculars to the culture you create here. I'm so excited to be back here with all of you. SGA will always be here to make sure that Oxford is a place where your needs are met, your voices are the basis for our initiatives, and where your perspective is incorporated into the university. I'm so excited to be here standing alongside all of you so that we can build a campus we all cherish and so that we can forge a more vibrant and more healthy Oxford. Thank you. Now, we're so excited to welcome our new professor of music and African American Studies, Amoria Roberson, who will be performing The Impossible Dream.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable fall, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you in class tomorrow.
I don't know what to say. That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you. It's Oxford College's longstanding tradition to invite a member of the faculty to deliver a convocation address. Doctor of Physics, a professor of physics, Dr. Sederitu will deliver the talk this evening titled "To the Systems Not in Equilibrium."
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. I cannot beat that. So thank you very much, Dean Carter. It is my honor to have the opportunity to address the Oxford class of 2024 and add my sincerest welcome to the ones you have already heard today and throughout orientation week. I am delighted to see my colleagues sitting here at the front, our returning now second-year students, as well as several parents and guests in attendance. Welcome to Oxford. As you know, I teach physics here at Oxford, which is what I love to do. I try to talk about physics at every opportunity I get. It's true, you can ask my nieces and nephews, they'll tell you. So when Dean Carter invited me to be the convocation speaker, not only did he give me such an opportunity, but he also presented me with a captive audience. And here I go. I would like to start by discussing an experiment. Imagine you have a box and you also have a divider that you can put in the middle of the box so that you can split it into two equal parts. Now imagine that in each half of the box, you put a different liquid. In the right half of the box, your right here, you put water. In the left half of the box, your left, right here, you put a liquid red dye that has the exact same density as water. Now, all you have to do is start the experiment by removing the divider from the middle of the box. In this way, the two liquids can come in contact with each other. Are we good so far? All right, good. What are we going to observe? We observe that even if you do not stir the fluids, the red dye will spread from the left half of the box to the right half of the box, creating beautiful red swirls in the process, much like the swirls you see when smoke from a fire fills up a room. The red swirls will keep moving to the right. Eventually, if we wait long enough, the whole mixture will become a uniform pink color and the swirls will be gone. At this point, we say that the system has reached equilibrium. After that, nothing interesting happens. The mixture will just sit there, pink as ever. And this is the first lesson of the day. Nothing interesting happens after a system reaches equilibrium. Now let's talk about these swirls. In other words, let's talk about the mixing of the red dye with the water molecules a little bit more carefully. What exactly is happening? Well, this is the process of diffusion. The red swirls are made of dye particles, and you have probably learned in your high school science class that the red dye particles move from the region where there are many of them. This is the region that we call region of high concentration, which is the left side of the box. And they move to the region where there are few of them or none of them. And this is the region of low concentration. In this case, it would be the right side of the box. The red dye particles move from high concentration to low concentration until the dye particles are uniformly spread out throughout the box. When they are uniformly spread out, which we can tell happens when the color is pink everywhere, this is when equilibrium is reached. But now this begs the question, how do the red dye particles know to move to the right where there are no red dye particles? In other words, how do they know that the region of low concentration is to the right side of the box, and therefore this is the direction in which they should move? The answer, of course, is that they do not know. It's not like they can sense in any way that less dye is to the right. What's happening is that the red dye particles collide with the water molecules. As a result of these collisions, each red dye particle is moving randomly in the box, both to the left and to the right. But it turns out that statistically, on average, when we look at many dye particles at once, the majority of them moves to the right where there are not that many dye particles. Since only on average the dye particles move to the right, this implies that, and this is the key, there will be some dye particles, statistically very few that move to the left, going against the majority, going against the grain. Keep in mind, though, that any particle that moves against the majority in one instant might not do that the next. In other words, because the particles move randomly, different particles move against the majority at different times. If observed long enough, all particles will have spent some time moving against the grain. You may now be asking yourself, enough. Okay, I get it. At any instant, as the system is trying to reach equilibrium, there are a few particles that move against the majority. Why should this matter to me? When I was a graduate student working on my PhD thesis, I asked myself the same question. For one of my projects, I spent a lot of time trying to quantify the particles that move against the grain at any given instant. How many are there? It turns out this was an important question to ask with significant applications. For example, technological advances in biology have allowed scientists to do single molecule experiments and observe individual proteins as they undergo various processes. When we observe an individual particle undergo a process, just like with a dye particle, how do we know if the particle's behavior represents the majority or the minority? What is the likelihood of the result of one such experiment being an exception and not the rule? So as a graduate student, I toiled away, trying to quantify the behavior of these contrarious particles by conducting experiments. Because they were acting against the majority, my collaborators and I called these particles bad actors. We would also amuse ourselves by calling each bad actor by the name of a famous bad actor. So bad actor 1 became Ben Affleck. Bad actor 2 was Keanu Reeves. And so on. Ultimately, after many experiments, we were able to identify the parameters that determine how many bad actors there would be on average at a given instant. The concentration difference of the dye particles was one such parameter. However, in retrospect, we were wrong about calling these little rascals bad actors. These particles are not bad. They don't move against the majority out of spite, and they do not always move against the majority. Sometimes they're part of the majority. They move randomly, and this random motion can be understood and predicted by physics. And this is the second lesson of the day. Moving against the grain is rare, but is as natural as moving with the grain. A single particle will do both. Moving against the grain is also following the laws of physics. In science, going against the grain can result in the development of revolutionary ideas. Often a scientist comes along that challenges a commonly held belief on a scientific issue, going against the majority of their peers. An example of such a scientist from physics is Galileo, who championed the heliocentric model of our solar system and was faced with opposition not only from his fellow astronomers, but also from the Catholic Church. Another example is Einstein. You cannot have a physics talk without Einstein, who redefined time and space with his theory of relativity and defied common sense. A third example was Marie Curie, who was a pioneer for women in science. These scientists were challenged. They were fully aware that their view was in direct opposition to that of the majority. Yet they stood their ground and they prevailed. Just like the dye particles, you will also move against the grain at some point in your life. It will not always happen, but there will be a few times when you will find that your convictions, your interests, your choices differ from those of the majority in your family, your circle of friends, or your larger community. You might get ignored because of them, or even meet with opposition. Do not get discouraged. If you know that your convictions and choices are correct, keep true to yourself. Remember the small dye particle and do your own thing, irrespective of what the majority is doing. Do not compare yourself to others. Trust the second lesson we learned, that going against the grain, though rare, is as natural as going with the majority. You are still moving in accordance with the laws of physics. I said just a second ago that if you know that your convictions and choices are correct, you need to keep true to yourself. But how can you be certain that your convictions are correct? How do you know that you should stand your ground and not change your mind? Here, there are two pieces of advice that I would like to give you so that you can be the best possible rare little particle. The first piece of advice is to develop a good foundational knowledge. The second piece of advice is to be critical of your own ideas. The desire to develop a good foundational knowledge is what brought you to Oxford and Emory. In the next 2 years, you will be taking courses in various subjects, subjects in which you will pursue careers, and subjects in which you won't. Regardless, you should try your hardest to understand the foundations of these disciplines and master their tools. What your professors will try to teach you is not just knowledge, but how to obtain knowledge on your own, how to become independent learners. So listen carefully to your instructors and pay attention to the tools they're using when investigating their disciplines. By using these tools yourself, you will be able to train your mind to uncover knowledge on your own. It is said that when Thomas Edison, the famous American inventor, claimed that a college education is useless, Einstein retorted that, and I quote, "It is not so very important for a person to learn facts. For that, he does not really need a college. He can learn them from books. The value of an education in a liberal arts college is not the learning of many facts, but the training of the mind to think something that cannot be learned from textbooks." End of quote. The only way to know, therefore, if your convictions and choices about political, social, and other issues are correct is by obtaining the knowledge and skills needed to investigate them yourself. The second piece of advice is about being critical of your own position. Of course, on any issue, firstly, you need to be able to understand both sides of an issue. What are the arguments and evidence that support the majority position? What are the arguments and evidence that support yours? But you need to go further than that. To explain what I mean and make my point, let me again use science as an example. Good scientists are the ones who try as hard as they can to falsify their own hypothesis, not confirm it. This is because good scientists know that, as human beings, they have confirmation biases that might influence their judgment. By trying as hard as they can to invalidate their arguments, scientists ensure that they remain objective and open-minded to the evidence they uncover. Richard Feynman, perhaps the most famous American physicist and one of my own personal heroes, has said, and I quote, "We scientists are trying to prove ourselves wrong as quickly as possible, because only in that way can we find progress." End of quote. Being critical of your own ideas is not a sign of lacking self-confidence. On the contrary, being critical of your own ideas allows you to get rid of misconceptions, biases, and external influences and side with the truth. Knowing that you're siding with the truth is what brings confidence. If this places you in opposition with the majority, so be it. You are still following the laws of physics. Now, do not get me wrong. This process of uncovering the truth, taking a stance, and possibly moving against the grain will be a struggle. I know this might be hard to hear, but within this process of figuring out what you stand for and how you should move into the world, moving with the majority at times or against the grain at others is where growth occurs. This process is where you will be developing those beautiful red swirls in the box we talked about. And these beautiful swirls are exactly what you want to be developing at this stage in your life. Why? Because the system that is changing and growing is a system that is not in equilibrium. Remember the first lesson we learned today. Nothing interesting happens when a system is in equilibrium. And you want to be interesting. You want to be leading interesting lives. Therefore, you want to be growing. You want to be struggling. So while you struggle, be resilient. Know that you're creating beautiful growing swirls and trust in the laws of physics. In closing, I would like to address the parents in attendance, if I may. Dear parents, remember that the little humans you see enter college today are systems that are out of equilibrium, and as such, they will struggle. Their choices might upset you. I know that some choices I made upset my parents, but as they try to figure it all out, I can assure you that the lessons you have taught them, and hopefully some of the ones we will teach them here at Oxford as well, will be with them along the way as voices in their heads and in their hearts, helping and encouraging them. They will be grateful for what you have taught them. They may not tell you that at the time, but they will tell you eventually. So, Mom, I know some of the choices I made upset you, but as I have been carving my own trajectory, I want you to know that the lessons you and Dad have taught me have been with me all these years. And so I'm very grateful to you. My mom does not speak English, but she will be watching this online. So to my relatives watching with her, I hope you're translating this last bit. Thank you all for your attention. And again, let me convey a sincere welcome to the Oxford class of 2024. I hope that you will find Oxford a great place to create beautiful red swirls and be out of equilibrium.
Amazing, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Zederitu. Oxford College and Emory College both elect students to the university's chapter of Phi Eta Sigma, the honorary society for first-year students. On the behalf of the entire faculty, our Assistant Professor of Environmental Science, Melissa Hage, will now present the new members from Oxford.
Good evening. I serve as faculty advisor for the Oxford chapter of Phi Eta Sigma. It's a great pleasure to see you all tonight as we begin a new school year together. Phi Eta Sigma is the nation's oldest and largest honor society for first-year college students across all disciplines. Each year, eligible students participate in induction ceremonies across the country where they agree to exemplify the three qualities valued in Phi Eta Sigma: a well-disciplined mind, a healthy physical being, and an unimpeachable character. In order to be eligible for induction, a student must maintain a 3.9 GPA or better over a full course load in their first semester, and additionally rank in the top 20% of their class. Despite these stringent qualifications, we are thrilled to welcome 60 new students to the Oxford chapter of Phi Eta Sigma last year. I would ask all of the new inductees to stand so that we may recognize your achievements.
I want to thank all of you for attending this evening, as together we celebrate the opening of Oxford College academic year. Faculty, your passion for liberal learning and your dedication to the college and your students is at the heart of Oxford. Staff colleagues, your personal professionalism and resourcefulness make Oxford both an inclusive community and a model for leadership. Students, you are bright, creative individuals who have come to learn, to explore new ideas, and to build a strong community through your diligence and creative efforts, and ultimately to serve a world much in need of your wise and humane service. As an alumnus, faculty member, and now as dean, I am excited to be part of this community with you, and I know the impact this community can have. Each of you belong here and bring something unique to our supportive community. I look forward to the year ahead. We will conclude this evening's convocation with a performance of our alma mater as is printed in your program, followed by a benediction from Chaplain Pace, and finally, the recessional. Please stand for the alma mater, and I'm going to welcome Dr. Amorja Robeson to come to the stage to lead us in the alma mater.
Before I offer a final blessing, first, a reminder to all students that you will be seated after the blessing, and you'll remain seated until the platform party and faculty have left the gymnasium. Students, you'll then be instructed by our faculty marshals when you are to depart for our candlelight procession on the quad. Sophomores will be escorted out first. First years, you'll remain, and then you'll be given instructions after the sophomores have departed. Now I get to do one of my most favorite things that I get to do, and that's offer a blessing. And I'm going to take a little cue from some of our speakers tonight. Create, curate, and cultivate. One more time. You too. Create, curate, cultivate. Now we got to do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Create, curate, cultivate. God bless you all. It's not over. As we scatter ourselves to different places, remember the oneness of this gathering. Remember to let wisdom and love be your guide. Let inquiry and ethical engagement nurture your decisions. Let a thirst for beloved community drive your actions in this new year. Remember, you might just have to move against the grain. And that still complies with the laws of physics. And now, may you be blessed, so blessed as to be a blessing in this year's journey, that those to whom love is a stranger will find in you a generous friend. Go in peace. Amen.
Thank